There's a replacement box. Helpfully it doesn't come with a drop arm, but I've got the Pitman arm puller to get that off. There is no way of centering these up. I'm going to need to look at how to get the steering wheel off with this fucking airbag, because I'm going to need to self-center the steering up again, aren't I? Which is a faff. The other faff is you start by getting the wheel nuts off. Now every single one of these wheel nuts is like that. There should be 27mm. I'm struggling to get 30 onto these. These last three I think are going to be okay, but there's no way can I get a 27 onto them. Wheel. Really good wheel. Get a stand under there. Probably ought to go a bit higher as well. A lot of the gloop around here is actually off the power steering. It's absolutely swimming in it down here, really is. Fairly recent discs though, and half worn pads. So what I need to do here is I need to undo that bolt. Yeah, I'm going to need to set the damper out. I didn't realise that. Of course that needs to come out. I need to undo the 4 bolts there, and then the steering bolt should drop down. Before I do that, I got to undo the bolt on the ball joint, bang that fucker down, and looks like this thing used to have air suspension. It's been converted to coils, which is a shame, isn't it? Has it still got the box under there? Oh no! Oh, that's a shame. It's still got the switches on the dash. Yes. Yes, so we're going to need to take the damper out of the way in order to get to the 4 steering bolts up there. But first and foremost, let's get it up a bit higher and get a stand underneath the axle. Gotta be safe, folks. And it's getting cold again, so I'm really pleased about that. I'll put this. Right. Get the pinch bolts off the steering next. There's nothing particularly fancy about the pinch bolts on the steering. But what you effectively need to do, there's a pinch bolt up there, there's pinch bolts down here, and really you've just got to kind of work around the universe. I'll get the windy gun on the top damper mounting. I'll undo that. I'm supporting the axle on a stand, so the axle's not going to suddenly fly down because the damper's not holding it up anymore. So just be aware of that. If you support it on the chassis and you undo the damper, then the axle's going to go downwards at a very, very great velocity. I know all about that. Oh yes. Oh yes, Emoki, yes face. So I'm smoking. So it looks like they are all captive bolts. They've changed the design. So on earlier cars like mine, the bolt was held in place by a nut, not me, another nut on the other side. Let's see if we can undo this bolt. I'll take the bolt right up, and you see. What I am going to do is I'm going to disconnect the battery in a minute, because I really need to work out. I'm going to get that airbag off the steering wheel without it thinking, we're having an accident. Because people have asked, it's not just bog standard WD-40, which is okay as a lubricant, but it's not very good as a release penetrant. This stuff is much, much better as a penetrant. It's not standard WD-40. It's very good at getting shit like this out of the way. Right, next we need pry bar. I'll put the pry bar down here, sort of. I'm basically just working down on the universal joint that goes onto the steering box. There's no easy way I can get in there, unfortunately. I'm reluctant to give it a bash, just in case it detects, oh shit, we're having a crash, but it needs to come off. It's going to need to open up a bit, I think. Just see if I can open up the this is fairly open. It's moving. Oh, that's good. So up here we've got the steering shaft and we've got the UJ that goes underneath, and the steering shaft goes right the way through the UJ. So there you go, I've moved it just by pushing it that way. I might be able to continue moving it. What I really need to do, I think, is open up the flexi. There, that one. That's the fucker I want. Can I get in there with that? Because now I know the top end of the shaft is moving, I'm less concerned. Oh, the shaft is going through at the bottom here as well. I might as well just shift it off using the same method. So putting the screwdriver in between the UJ and the end of the shaft on the steering box. Can I move it? No. Seized him McFucking seized face. Big old school tyre lever. Might go down there. Will it fit? Not easily. Oh. No. It's not going to fit. Will it fit in there? Yes, it will. Oh, fuck off. Because this will allow me now to splay the joint apart. Right, it's in. And come on, you bastard, get in there. Splayed it. I think it has. Yes, it definitely has, because it's going down and into it. Now does it move? Fucking bastard. As it just moved back up there. These things should not be this tight, by the way. I've not had this problem before. Ha 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 ha. Oh, 100,000 joys of joy. What it's done basically is push the shaft back up there again. But at least it's now freely moving between the bottom and the top. What I'm not getting here is the movement on the intermediate shaft, which needs to shift. How are we going to do that? We're going to get that in there. It's not moving the intermediate shaft. The intermediate shaft is stuck. So, steering. I'll do that. This one just now that I was trying to widen it out, it's going to get widened a bit more. Definitely widen that fucking time. Let's see if we can. Oh, you bastard. More lube. do you suppose that is? It was there. Right, that's gone in there. Now, let's see what we got. So basically, I've got the top joint moving, I've got the middle joint moving, and I've got the lower joint moving, and now the whole shaft is free of the steering box. It can stay like that though. That gives me enough swing room there to get the spanners onto the two hydraulic pipes, one of which is partially obscured by the turret here. So we'll try and get the damper turret off next, I think. Let's get sockets. 3/4 normally. Oh. Oh. Oh, God, of course. This is 3/4. Can I get the windy gun in there? Yes. The electric windy gun, of course. There's a big bush up there as well. That's out, and then we've got one underneath to do. Has to go back up and into this bush, isn't it? Let's take this bush out. The washer. Get the damper to go back up into that hole. There it is. Damper. Shoot busted. Just put the washers back on it. The way they come off. Right, now you can come down here. Boing, boing, boing. So, what we've basically got here is you've got the brace for the panhard rod. And then you've got a brace that comes from the panhard rod and goes to the back of the steering box. It's only there to stop the panhard rod from flexing. So all I'm going to do is undo that nut. Should come off. There goes the camera. Nut's stuck in there because it's all glued up. Don't need to take the panhard rod off. Don't need to take the joint off, but you can see already that how it's not central. It's a huge hole in there, and all it's designed to do is to stop the panhard rod from moving this way or that way, indeed. Right, okay. I think we'll get the drop arm off when it's all out and on the bench. So let's undo the steering arm next while we're deeply uncomfortable and up to our necks in water. It's going to be 3/4, but it needs to be a spanner, unfortunately, purely because I can't get the electric windy gun up there. Electric windy gun up there. So I'm trying to keep myself mostly out of the water. That's right, isn't it? Depends how fucking tight this was when it was done up. That tight, in a nutshell. Ratchets. Oh, Mr. Lumpy afterwards. I want to get this ball joint out. What I don't want to do is bash the drop arm, and that should be enough for it. Mr. Lumpy. By bashing the side, you release the join. It's probably the end of life. And now that's off, I can undo, just put the nuts back on again so I know where they are. I can go over there. And then what I need to do next is get these two bolts off up here. Which are fiendishly tight. Absolutely fiendishly fucking tight. Can I get windy out there? Probably could actually. Oh, if I can get hold of it. Fuck you. I'll get it on one of them, I can't get it on the other. One thing, by the way, when you're using these guns, don't be tempted to put your ratchet spanner on the other end. It wrecks them. Absolutely fucking wrecks them. Right, so there's one of them. I don't think I'm going to get Mr. Gun on the other one. It might do. Might just about go on there, we'll see. Yep, it did. And spanner on the other end. It's off. Bolts. Out and washers off. And interestingly, this has got holes through it rather than slots like the earlier style has. This needs to go back on later. Let's put the bolts back through so I know where they are. Right, then we can go top side. Because I need next, this lot's going to have to get a big fucking good degrease before it comes apart. Maybe I'll just spray it and get the pressure wash on it. Range Rover's patented. Range Rover's patented oil protection scheme, working beautifully here. Oh, see, the sun came out and now just started raining. Before we go too berserk on that, I need to get these two hydraulic pipes off the top of the box. And if I remember rightly, one was 9/16. So the two pipes are just directly down here. They're both in line with each other on this side of the kind of nose, the input of the box. So the big one is 5/8. Might be fucking 17, you never know. No, it's 5/8. And oh god, it's gonna be tight. Of course it's gonna be fucking tight. Why would it not be tight? It's kind of like now all of the oil cooler pipes for the engine are now in the way. That's going to need more. I might have to do a double spanner on that, because that is going to need to come out. And by double spanner, what I mean, that's the spanner I want to use. If I put that one through there like that, yeah, and then I get double the linkage. It's not going to work though, is it, Richard? Because I'm not on the ring. It'll only work when it's on the ring end. How are we going to do this, Richard? We're just going to have to be brave, aren't we? Rattle our knuckles against the side of the car. I don't think I can even get a swing of a hammer in there. Just to tap the spanner. Now, one of them is quite big and the other one is a lot smaller. Both hands down there. Oh, you fucker. Let's move it and have a cup of tea, because I need to have a think. Right, lube those two. They really shouldn't be that fucking tight, but they are. Now, I'm not worried about the top of the... Normally I would clean the top of the box before I took it all apart. I'm less worried in this particular case, purely because it's the box is going back for refurbishment. On account of the fact it's pissing fluid everywhere. That might work. I'm just going for the clenching hand by grabbing it against the top of the suspension turret. Yes, that works. Right, so what I did there, have a look. Can you see? I don't know whether you can see or not. Can you see? You can. Right, so there's the spanner. So what I basically did was put that on there and then clenched it with my finger around the suspension turret. Now, I am going to need to go and get the drip tray, because this is going to make a fucking great mess in a minute. I don't know how much fluid we've got in this thing. Oh, nothing. Right, drip tray. And let's get this fucking thing off. Let's look at the spanner then, but of course it's on the other end of this spanner. Right, there goes the fluid. There goes the pipe. Pipe is up. Now we're going to get the other pipe out now. You see there's fuck all coming out of this. There's nothing in the pipe whatsoever. If I turn the steering box, I'm getting some to come out, but not a lot. Right, now the other one's either 1/2 inch or 9/16. Let's get this pipe up and out of the way. And then, when these two are off, then I can go and have a cup of tea. I'm going to say that's less than 9/16. I'll just throw it down over there because it's absolutely dripping with bloody power steering fluid. Can't pick the other spanner up because I've got slippery hands. No, it's not 1/2 inch. It's not 9/16. We're assuming, of course, that it's not just been gibboned. So let's get the 14 and the 30. That's off. It's entirely possible that someone's rounded the fucking end off on it. That'd be a laugh, wouldn't it? Right, 13 first. Get down here, lift that fucker up. No, it is 9/16 like I thought, but I'll get cleaned in a second. Let's see if 14 has got. Well, fortunately, it's not horrifically tight. Unfortunately, there's not enough room to get a fucking swing on it because this turret is in the way. No, what's actually happening here is it's slipping. Oh, you. Right, let's take the other. Moses. Quite why they're this tight, I do not know. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo the bypass hose to see, or bypass pipe, to see if that's going to afford me So even that's, maybe my 916 spanner's fucked. Have I given that abuse? I'll get a crow's foot on this. Oh, right, that one's gone. You heard my knuckles then, just wrap the suspension turret, and I'm just going to let you know when that starts hurting. Yes, that's hurting. The job done is not a job done until you have physically fucking hurt yourself. Right, once this is out of the way, I might be able to get crow's foot down there. We'll see. All these aircon pipes are getting in the way as well. Just the big two pipes you can see just directly above my hand. Aircon. Oh. Come on, you fucker. I think that is out. Can I lift it? It's because the pipe goes onto the side of the box down there. Oh, for fuck's sake, Richard. We're just undoing stuff here we don't need to really be undoing. Oh, actually, that's not going to undo. Whenever you do a fucking job like this, you always end up just with an utter ball's ache. So I'm going to go right down to the bottom now and take the other end of this fucking pipe. There's nothing to ever fucking easy. Off. Does it come off the top now? Almost. There's a bit of fluid in there. Come on, fluid, out you go. Stripping straight down to my drip tray. It's going to be a mother of all bloody clean-up jobs after this. There it's off. And just put that down there. Fuck you. Right, now can we get to this pesky ingredient? The smaller of the two, which should be easier, is proving to be somewhat fucking less so. Just lift that one up and out of the way because I don't want to be trapped. Oh, did that go? It did. It fucking did. Oh, thank you. There it goes. It's just a flare. There's like a union on the end of the pipe. And it was just stuck at the bottom of the bloody hole. Right, those two can come up and out of the way. They're clear. Right. Now I think, now we can have a cup of tea. Oh, which is good timing actually, because it's just started fucking raining again. Heavens are opening consistently now, but I'm going to video it from in there. But take the tray out of the way because it's finished dripping. Undo these 4 bolts, and then the box will come down and out. I need to get a baking tray ready to pop it onto, and then it can be cleaned up, ready for whatever. Now, why aren't you level? I don't know why you're not level. Why are you not level? What are you even looking at? I don't know what you're looking at. You can look down there. Are you looking at anything at all? Let's have a look. Oh, you're looking at the car. There you go. Right. tray just because I don't want to break it. I need the creeper though. This. Right, some of it broken, but it's the easiest way to get off. Right. Now let's put the new one back on, a lot more gently. Right, so there we go. Old box. Had it not been pissing them with rain, then I would have been laying underneath the car as I ended the last bolt and lower it down gently, but it is pissing them with rain, and so I didn't. Right, now. Right, well I didn't end up doing an awful lot more videoing on putting that box back in yesterday, because first and foremost my voice went, and you can hear it's gone proper husky again now. Putting the box back on again, it's not that difficult folks, but I'll give you some gotchas on it, and then we can move on with the bleeding of the system and centralising of the steering wheel. Right, so the two pipes that go onto the top of the box down here, I would strongly suggest that you get those in before you locate all 4 bolts on the box. I put 1 bolt in on the box just to locate it, so it didn't drop down like the old one did, and then got the 2 pipes in. Now there is a clip on the front cross member right underneath the radiator which supports those 2 pipes as well. It's worth undoing that, gives you a bit more flexibility, but they are bastards to get in, I tell you now. That's the first gotcha. The second gotcha really is about bleeding the system. Now on these later 4-bolt boxes there's a bleed nipple on the top there, so you literally undo that bleed nipple, top up the reservoir, start the engine. There's none of this winding lock to lock nonsense. Once it has bled itself through, then at that point you can go and sort of test drive. Now rather than mess around with the SRS, you see no steering, rather than mess around with the SRS and take the airbag off and risk SRS lights and so forth coming on, I'm actually going to, I've got the wheels in the straight ahead position, I've also got the wheel in the straight ahead position, so the worst case scenario will be that I'll need to adjust the link rod just by 1 spline either way. It shouldn't be too much of a problem really, should it? Right, okie dokie, and then we can inch forwards, can't we? We bloody well can. It's exactly what we're going to do. Right, so let me get myself organised, and I'm going to show you how I bleed these things. But there's a little bleed nipple right there. Look at that little bastard there. It's actually got a cap on it now. Does the cap come right off? Yes, it does, because that'll help me then put a socket on there rather than the spanner, because you can see axis is a bit on the tight side. Bleed nipple is, can you see? Are you looking? I don't know if you're looking. Just makes life a little bit easier. 7/16. Oh, it's open already. Is it? Let's make sure it's right. Closed. Open. 7/16 or 11mm. Reconnect battery. Oh, and that's going to be 9/16 or 14. Right, now it comes time for Smoky Joe startup. What we'll do is we'll just put a bit of fluid in the reservoir before we kick off, because otherwise I don't want it to be running dry. Oh, hello. Yes, I do look like this most of the time, I'm afraid. Right, okay. mean, not a lot of fluid came out of this thing when I emptied it. But let's fill the reservoir up and give it a fighting chance. Right. In park. Handbrake off. Ignition on. Glow plugs off. Oh, almost didn't, did it? Right, so you can see something air coming out. Pouring fluid in. Fair pace. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Oh. What a mess. I did it. Right, that's up just over a litre. Have to open up the other can. It's half full. I think we've got a fucking monumental leak under here. But we're almost at the right level now. Pump's going quieter. As if you could fucking hear it. I'll clean that lot off in a minute. Have we got power steering? Yes, we have. So it really is a lot easier bleeding these newer systems than it was the older systems. Right, and I didn't have to disconnect the steering wheel, so what we'll need to do is double check that we've got straight ahead on this thing now. So I'm not going to video it, but basically, let's turn the engine off so we can actually hear ourselves think. It's a nice engine actually, I quite like it. When it's on song, these 300 TDIs, they sound nice. Got a nice, quite a pleasant sound to them. It's just to idle. Just to idle, they sound like a fucking taxi. But once they're going, they've got very, very pleasant kind of, you know, tone to them. Right, we're done. That's done up. Right, what I'll do is I'll spray some of my degreaser down there. Oh. Then I'll just chuck some water in there just to rinse it all down, just so we know there's no leaks. Oh. Now, I inverted. I thought I'd emptied the old box out last night, so I inverted it. So obviously the points, the pipe points. Are we even fucking videoing, Richard? It looks like it is, but I don't know what you're doing. There's the pipe unit down there. Now this thing was empty as far as I was concerned yesterday, so I inverted it and left it overnight. Look how much fluid's come out. Now I think it's empty. Can you imagine if that went in the box? the couriers would go fucking berserk. Yeah, they tend not to like shit like that. Right. So, oh, we frothed a bit up here. Why is that frothing? It's probably gone a bit too full now. Let me just go and suck some of that fluid out of there. Can't find the fucking pipe for it, so bollocks to it. Right, I'll do that. Squirt that back in there. And clear up the mess. Let's get some water down here, just ready to clankety fucking clank, clean that lot up, and then I can fucking out of water. Try it. Just rinse it where that stuff splattered all over the place, just rinse it all over again. That'll soon dry out nicely. There we go. That's that. Right, well, I got it all together. Got the steering shaft in. Happy enough with that. And then I thought, that's a lot of fucking fluid down there. What's going on there? You fucker. Basically, the pipe, the link pipe that goes down to the bottom of the steering box, well, it's fucking pissing fluid out. So I'm going to give famous. Well, that was a bit of a bastard to get off. Okay, so the nut was loose, which really didn't help it, but also you can see on the reverse side there's a fucking great kink in there, and similarly there's a bend on this side. Now this nut ferrule here, because the pipe is bent so badly, was a cupcake to get off. Absolute cupcake. So I've taken the pipe off the other box. I'm just going to give that a quick clean, blow through. I'm just going to go back onto this box. What a pain in the arse. Really could have done without this, I tell you. Really Fleabag. Well, been round the block a few times, and steering is behaving itself, which is good. No more leaky. So I've given it a damn good clean underneath. As you can see, the estate is a bit muddy at the moment. There's no point me getting it washed here because it's just going to get muddy driving back to my fucking unit. What am I going to do? I'll go and see the customer and get it washed on the way out.